What's up, and welcome to the Fitpreneur Evolution Podcast, where we explore the intersection of fitness and entrepreneurship. From nutrition and exercise to mindset and productivity hacks, this is the podcast that will help you optimize your health and your coaching business. Today, I have Justin with me, who is an online fitness business owner. What's up, Justin? How are we doing?
Great, man. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. So if you want, just before we dive into everything, we'll just kind of let the audience learn who you are and what you do and kind of who you help.
Yeah, so my coaching really comes from my own story. I grew up, I'll keep it brief, but I grew up an overweight, unathletic kid and, got picked on a lot and stuff. And as I grew up, I started getting more fit and, was in sports, one of them being mixed martial arts, where I had to cut a lot of weight. And it taught me a lot about hard work and, about my abilities, but it also encouraged a full-blown eating disorder and body dysmorphia as a result, just because I was basically starving myself. And so, having to work through that, and then a whole host of injuries, and like everyone, dealing with no motivation, no drive, not knowing what to do, all of it. Because I've been able to solve my own problems and heal myself from those things, has always been my heart as a coach. And I started Empower Inc., my coaching group, 9 months ago, so that I could package it in that way and do it the way I wanted, after coaching in gyms for 13 years, and everything that comes with that. So.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I love the story. I feel like, a lot of people that become trainers, they become trainers because, and again, this might not be everybody, but I kind of went through something similar. So I think we become trainers because we go through our own fitness journey. And then once we figure out how to overcome certain obstacles and we feel that, the joy that it brings us from being able to achieve that goal and feel good, not only on the outside, but also the inside, we just want to help other people get there so they can feel that feeling.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had so many people over the years say, "Oh yeah, I'm considering being a coach. Like, what do I need?" It's like, do you like fitness and do you like helping people? Because those are kind of the two main requirements. And you're right. Like, as a coach, you're a leader, and how can you lead people where you haven't been yourself? So that self-development is really important to be a coach.
Yeah, exactly. And you had mentioned mixed martial arts. So I just want to touch on that a little bit because, I've done stuff in the past. So
Sure.
With mixed martial arts, like what was it? What did you do? So were you like an amateur cage fighter? Did you do jiu-jitsu? Like what was it that you did?
Yeah, so I did the MMA, meaning like it's all of it. So, in amateur, typically there's no elbows to the face and stuff like that, but it's not UFC level, but it's that kind of combat, that style. And so, yeah, it was cage fighting. My first 2 fights were in a ring, just because that was the venue. And so I had 3 amateur fights and 1 professional fight, and then I hung them up after that.
Yeah,
So
I feel you. So that's when I was probably 22. That's what I got into. A buddy of mine was like, "Hey, they're having fights," and this was in Quincy, Illinois at the time. And he's like, "We ought to do it." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm not doing it." And I think I walked around at probably 195 pounds at the time. And so I was like, "Okay, let's go. Let's sign up." So we did. And he was like, "How much do you weigh?" And it was like 185 or 205. I was like, "Well, I weigh 195. So I guess 205. And
Oops.
Dude, I got demolished. I got, picked up and slammed. And after that, I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this again, I'm going to reevaluate the situation and figure out what I need to do. So I know what you mean in regards to, like, after that, I started training really hard. I got involved with a really good team. And I started lifting weights and got in shape. I probably walked around at like 210. And even I kept fighting, but I fought at 185. So cutting weight from that 210 to 185, dude, that was brutal. That was the worst part. Like, people say, like, even in sports and stuff like that, it's like practicing is the hard part. Like, actually getting to fight, that's the easy part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, training is the worst.
Yeah, fight week was my favorite week because the hay's in the barn, as they say, and you're just kind of getting sweaty. But yeah, you're at the end of your cut, like all the hard stuff's over. Now it's just time to dance, time to perform. That's the best part.
Yeah, man, that was so much fun. I was,
That's cool.
I did the same stuff. I got to the point where just like, I lost the passion for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I'm older now. Like, I'm not really going to do this for the rest of my life. Like, I don't heal as fast. It hurts more. Like, I'm done,
Sure. Yep.
but
Bro, same. I mean, for me, I went 3-0 in my amateur career, and with the last one being a TKO, and so I was feeling pretty good riding that wave, and made my pro debut on Spike TV when Spike TV was still around here in Reno at the Nugget, and I actually ended up having to pay $1,400 for that fight because of my medical bills because I got kneed in the face and had 8 stitches. And between that and my team had disbanded right after I accepted the fight. And so I was basically like Clubber Lang status, like training myself for my pro debut on national TV. Same. So I totally get what you're saying. Like, you're just like, you know what? Like, we're good. This served its purpose. And for me, just briefly, it served a really big purpose because before that, I was a pretty high level baseball player, and I was in very initial talks. Like, I hadn't signed any letters of intent or anything, but with, the Angels and the Tigers, and that was looking pretty promising. And then I tore my labrum, 75% tear, and that all went away. And so MMA, even though it only lasted 4 years for me, it taught me so much, like I said, not only about my own work ethic and that I always have more in the tank, but it redeemed that athlete in me, like that competitive nature. And I honestly don't think I'd be here today as a coach had I not had those 4 years. So even though it kind of fizzled out in the end, I'm very grateful for those 4 years for sure. I don't miss the injury. I don't miss the injuries, but
right. Yeah, dude, we're pretty similar. And that's how I was. And it's like, it was football for me. But once those days are over, it's like, dude, I just don't feel like myself anymore. So being able to do that and perform at that top level, having to train, having something to work for, it brings back that desire and that burning fire inside you. And it's like, yes, dude, I love that feeling. But yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I tore my labrum too. It was lifting weights.
Oh man, that
it
sucks.
was nasty. I hated it.
It's painful, man. Well, and just something came to mind just as an encouragement, because I know you resonate with this too, Dustin, that it's hard. Like, when you finally leave competitive sports, because you had a goal, right? It was game day. It was the upcoming season. You had the accountability and you had the guidance, and now you're kind of just treading water. And so to anyone out there that's listening, that you're kind of in that boat, that you don't feel like you just have to find a new North Star. Like, you have to find what that is. And it's going to be a messy process. Like, for me, it was like, maybe I like calisthenics, or actually in the beginning it was, I have a shirtless Halloween costume coming up, so I got to cut weight for that, like that kind of stuff. But it's a messy process, but it's an important one, because it won't last if you don't find something else. And you can use finite goals, which is a good thing, but like, for me, it's not just the physical shape, but it's about crafting and forging the kind of man I want to become, like the disciplined man, and the kind of man that can handle the success that I'm striving for in my coaching business, because I love what, I don't know if you follow Wes Watson, but I love what he says about your level of success will never exceed your level of self-development. And that's why, all my members, I try to get them to that non-negotiable phase, even if it's starting off with just waking up at the same time of day, non-negotiable no matter what. You got 2 hours of sleep the night before, it's okay. You're going to be fine. But that's the only way to make your health stick. And so for those of you that are trying to find that new North Star, you can do it. I'm here to say, like, you need to find your new North Star, and it is very doable. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's awesome. We are kind of like-minded in regards to that. And, Bedros is somebody that I use as a mentor, and he uses that word non-negotiable a lot. So, there was a time where I just had a passion for coaching. I absolutely love coaching, and I liked owning a business, but what I did not like was the back end stuff. Well, at the time, I didn't think that I liked the back end stuff. Didn't like the logistics. I didn't like the operations. I didn't like having to manage a team and do all that. Like, I came to do this because I just love coaching in general. So with that being said, I wanted to get back into fitness some, and not so much doing what I was doing. And through that, I learned that working on a business, you oftentimes put yourself on the back burner. So you stop making your health and fitness a priority because you have so many other things going on. And so it was a really big transition for me to be able to go, okay, now that I'm back in fitness, like, I am a walking billboard. So who wants to buy fitness from someone that's out of shape, right? So I need to make myself a priority again, and I need to show up every damn day being the best version of myself possible. So it's like, okay, what are my non-negotiables? I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning before the wife and the kids get up, and I'm going to the gym every morning. That is a non-negotiable for me. And then it's like, okay, I'm drinking 12 ounces of water with a quarter cup of pink Himalayan salt and a lemon every morning. That is a non-negotiable for me. So those are my non-negotiables that I use every day. And even though I got out of fitness and transitioned back into doing business coaching, those are still there because they've been created as good, solid habits to be sustainable forever. Because when we think about, you use the sense of the North Star, and I like that. When we think of not having something, no North Star, right? The way Justin described it as being the North Star. So at points and times in our lives, whether it's starting something new, whether it's a fitness journey, whether it's a new business opportunity, anything, you're full of motivation, right? You're super ecstatic. You're ready to go. But the thing about motivation is that it's only an emotion. And so that motivation burns out after time when stuff gets uncomfortable, when you're having to put in more work than you thought you were going to, when the fire's just, fizzled out. And then it's like, what are you left with? You're only left with your habits, because that's what you're going to revert back to. So if you don't have good habits, you're going to lose. But yeah, man, that's awesome. So
yeah, I've always said, just on that note, I've always said, told my group that motivation is a terrible wingman, because it's like you're at the bar and your buddy's like, I got your back, bro, go talk to her. And then you go and then you turn and your buddy's gone. That's what motivation is like. Like, how often have you, I know I have, anyone listening, it's Sunday night and you're like, tomorrow's the day. I'm putting out all my stuff. Here we go. And then you wake up and you're like, nope, because you're relying too much on motivation. And not to be a broken record, but that's why getting to that non-negotiable place is so important, is so you don't negotiate with yourself. And a message, I go live every single morning right after my workout, because I'm the same way. I'm up at 4:30, non-negotiable, out in the garage by 5:15, working out. And then right afterwards, when I'm at my highest frequency, I go live. And I was telling my group the other day your reasons for taking care of yourself can start with yourself, and that's totally normal. Like, I want to get in better shape. I just had a bad breakup. I'm injured, whatever. But I think at some point they have to transcend yourself. The reasons do. Because that's part of the problem, is when we're only accountable to ourselves, it's way too easy to go, you're doing fine, bud. Sit on the couch tonight. But if it's about, I'm trying to become the man that my wife can respect and follow. I'm trying to become the example for my kids. I'm committed to my members. Like, I tell my members all the time, I will always be doing more than you, so that no matter what I ask you to do, I've done it. And I can sit here and say, you'll be fine. I'm never going to ask you to do something I don't want to, that I haven't done. And so my reasons for working out, yeah, I love the abs. I love, the physical feats and all that. But sometimes I can sit there and go, you look pretty good. Like, in the past, I would do that. Like, you can skip today. You look good. Take your foot off the gas. But now I can't miss anymore, because when I stumble, they fall. Like, it's for them now too. You know what I mean? So anyway, I cut you off. You're going to ask a question.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I agree with that. It's like the saying that, do as I say, not say as I do, that type of thing. It's like, be the leader. Like, you are the leader. So you have to set the example, whether it's for your coaching clients or for your kids or for whomever it may be, because for people that have kids, they're going to follow in your footsteps. Like, kids are super smart. Like, no matter how old they are, like, they are watching and listening to everything you say and do. So it's like, as a parent, when we get to the point of, it's like, okay, my kid absolutely loves junk food, right? My kid loves oatmeal cream pies. My kid loves chips. My kid loves soda. And it's like, but why? Because, for one, you allow that. And two, they probably learned the habit from you, or they picked it up somewhere. So as the parent, you're capable of going, no, I'm the leader. We're not going to eat this. We're going to eat this instead. You just have to show up and lead, because that's going to make the difference. That will hold you accountable to being the best version of you. And if you're a coach or a leader, everyone that's following you will lead or follow by your example.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about do as I say, not as I do, that's to me, that's kind of hypocritical. It's do as I say and as I do. Like because I
Right.
do it. Because how hypocritical, to that junk food example, how hypocritical would it be if you're telling your kid no oatmeal cream pies and then you're stuffing 3 down your face as soon as they go to bed? They may never see that. You can be
Right.
as sneaky as you want, but you know that. And that's
Yeah.
another concept. That's one of the core values of Empower Inc. is you have to align your actions with your desires. And those being out of alignment is why so many people are miserable, I think. Like they say there's those memes out there like, I want abs, but I also want tacos. It's like, well, first of all, you can have both. If you
Right.
do your macros right, you can have both. But also, like, make up your mind, because you need to either elevate your actions to meet your desires, or just maybe that's not that important to you. Maybe you're saying that because you think make you more socially acceptable. Maybe you need to dial back your desires a little bit, and that's okay. Like, it's your life. But either way, a life of incongruence is a terrible place to be, even if no one knows you're doing it. That's the sneaky part. But you do. Like, you still have to go to
Right.
bed with that every night. And that kind of crap will come out in other ways. You'll be the guy that's always hating on other people, flipping people off on the freeway, taking shortcuts at work. Because like Bedros says, how you do anything is how you do everything, And so
Right.
that incongruence you will die the slowest death from the inside out, I think, from experience. I've been there,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because, kind of like what you said, it's going to sit on the inside of you, whether anyone sees it or not. And so that is going to transpire into guilt. And then that guilt is going to come out in other ways.
Yep.
I love that. So
Yep.
I know that, man, we've been all over the place, but it's been an awesome talk. So, okay. So diving into some of what you do, I guess. So,
Sure.
how, for the listeners out there that are in the position of maybe they are currently an online trainer, or maybe they're an in-person trainer wanting to make the transition. I know that you and I both can speak on the fact that there is no such thing as a hack, right? There is no, oh, use this tip to become a millionaire overnight in fitness. Like, there is no such thing. You and I both know this because we've been through the path. What do you think that the number one roadblock is when it comes to starting an online fitness business? Like, what do you think the number one roadblock is?
It's a good question. What do I think the number one roadblock is? I think it's like any kind of skill development. It's the willingness to suck at first. As adults, we don't like to suck at stuff. I think kids have no awareness of that because there is no like comparison game. There is no societal expectation. They're just kids. They're just playing. They're just picking stuff up, And as adults, we almost have this like performance plan cloud hanging over our heads all the time. Like, we have to be awesome at everything. And especially with social media, like, I think social media is great, but I mean, it's giving people a window into your lives, and sure, you can control what they see, but back to that congruence, you can lie, oh, I'm so successful, and you're really not, or, and so it's like any kind of skill, like you have to be willing to suck gravel for a little while, because like, here's the thing, I'm going into the online space. Like, I've been a coach for over 13 years and a good one. Like, I've had a lot of notoriety in my community and a lot of success, and like you, Dustin, I'm sure helping a lot of people transform their lives, and coaching coaches. Like, I got to that level. And in a lot of ways, I didn't realize this going into the online space because I didn't really do my social media as well as I should have, because I was so focused on the people in front of me. I've kind of had to start from ground zero on social proof. Like, I actually am a good coach and people believing that, and so I think, first of all, right now, for those that are in brick and mortar spaces, first of all, you can totally do a hybrid model. I don't think it has to be one or the other. Obviously, there may be some non-compete stuff. You have to, figure that out with your boss, but you can do both. But it depends on what you want to do. I will say that it's good to entertain online coaching in general because there's only so many hours in the day, and so the ceiling is much lower with exclusively in person. But back to your question, yeah, I think it's that. Like, I've had to be willing to just kind of suck gravel and accept the fact that it's happening now because I've been in business for 9 months now. Like, more and more people are starting to see that I am who I say I am. But I just have to continue down my road of self-development so I can prove that to myself every day, because that comes out in my coaching. And then, the people that are in my group, they're referring people, that's always a good sign. But yeah, anyway, not the sidebar off your question. It's that. It's just you got to be willing to and ask for help too. I think it's that too. Like it's kind of all in one. Like because you're not willing to suck, that also means you're not willing to kind of essentially say you suck to someone else by asking for help and joining masterminds, joining your academy, whatever that is. Like we need help, dude. So like, sorry to say, but if 2020 proved anything, it's we need each other, you know? So like, and so, yeah, I would say those two things.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. You're 100% right. And it's like when you say you're an in-person trainer and you're making the transition to online, you might be a rock star as an in-person trainer, but you've done it for however long inside the gym. And so when you make that transition to online, it's a different world. Like the landscape is completely different. Like
yeah, it is.
You have the only marketing skills you really have are from what you learned in the gym. Your sales skills are from what you learned in the gym. And so then you take that online and it's just like a different world. And so you're trying to navigate your own path to figure it out. And being consistent. Like I love the fact that you said you need help, because if you think about it, a lot of times we get this, and even online fitness coaches, they get a bad rap because everyone's afraid to admit that they suck at some point in time. And it's like, dude, like you need help, obviously. So you just don't want to work with me because I'm an online fitness coach. You would rather go to someone in person. But when you think about online fitness, and again, I love the hybrid model idea. That is totally doable, again, depending on what gym you work out, because there are non-competes out there. But the difference to me between, and I've done tons of podcasts with other people about this, the difference between in-person and online for me is the accountability factor. Typically, when someone needs help, they just need a very good, strong accountability system. Yeah. And when you go to an in-person gym, and again, I'm not bashing any in-person trainers in no way, shape, or form, because we need everybody. But with an in-person trainer, someone pays you X amount of dollars for however many sessions. They come to you, they're with you for 45 minutes to an hour throughout the day, and they watch you, watch your form, go over whatever exercises that they have you do, and then they're gone. That's it. Versus online trainer, they're going to help you through your nutrition. They're going to be with you. Typically, it might not be 24/7, but they are a support system to lean on when you need help or have questions. You're not going to text your in-person trainer or send them an email or a message through Facebook or Instagram and say, hey, is it okay if I eat this slice of pizza? Or is it okay if I do this in my nutrition plan or do a food swap or something? Like, that's not feasible. And a lot of times with in-person trainers, they're not allowed to talk about nutrition with you. They can only cover the very tip top of the iceberg.
Yeah. So, personally, I never listened to that part. It's out of your scope of practice. It's like, so let me get this straight. My job is to get people healthier, and I can't talk about arguably the most important part. Like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just not listen to that. Like, you know, I would always tell people I'm not a nutritionist, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But here, you know, this is just real because I've been there and sharing my story. Like, I've done the diets, I've done all this. Like, here's what works, you know. But yeah, that's why. Like, I get it from a liability standpoint, but maybe that's just the rebel in me. And like, you know, I've always been kind of a stubborn guy, but I'm like, yeah, I'm never going to be that trainer that is afraid to talk about nutrition. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, because like you said, like it is the most important part. Like, I mean, it's 80% nutrition, 20% exercise. It's crazy how
I always tell people, think of it from a mathematical standpoint. Let's say you even spend 2 hours in the gym and then you sleep 8 hours. That leaves 14 other hours in the day. That food is going to be involved, unless of course you intermittent fast and want to get wrapped up in all that. But like, mathematically, it's going to matter more. Like, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, we got to talk about it. And yeah, to the accountability piece, I agree with you. That's something I've learned too, because I wasn't always as consistent as I said I wanted to be in-person training of touching, touch points with people outside of sessions, because I had other sessions to worry about. But that's kind of the great part about online coaching too, is because you can do it at scale. Like you can do it at scale because your output is so much higher, because you're not sacrificing 1 hour for one person anymore. You can work with, virtually as many people as you want in an hour. And so that means you have a lot more time and capacity to have touch points, to have conversations, to record custom videos, like whatever your delivery methods are. But yeah, the accountability is really the main thing that we need to stick to our goals. Like we need that accountability. And I have personally found how after doing both, that online training definitely affords you a little bit more opportunity to be that source of accountability for sure.
And that's typically, I mean, you can take out all the other factors. Typically, the reason why people want to go and work for themselves is because they're tired of someone else having their thumb on top of them. They all go and try and do business for themselves because they want all the same things, whether it's time freedom, location freedom, or financial freedom. That's typically the reasons why they move on to them by themselves. And so with the online training model, that allows you, like you said, to have more time freedom. You're able to spend more one-on-one with an individual to do volume, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can work with the same client for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or however long you want, because there's so many more hours in the day to work with the rest of your clients. It's not like you're standing around on a gym floor and you're dedicating one specific hour per client or whatever it may be. Because like you said, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. That's what I love about online is you can scale in volume. And then when you get to a position to where you're no longer like a solopreneur, you become an entrepreneur, an actual business, you start building a team, you're able to handle more and more and more clients inside the business. So that's what I like about it. But
well, and I would say too, to anyone listening that you are thinking about making the jump, two things. First of all, you just have to jump. You know, it's the old entrepreneur saying, you have to jump without a parachute and build it on the way down. Like that's just part of it. I full transparency, lacked the courage to jump. I actually had to get let go from the gym. The ownership had changed about a year and a half prior to this. And while I still service my clients well, I just could not disagree more with how the new company was run. And I think they could see that. And so I lacked the courage to jump. And looking back, I'm not going to say, oh, I wish I would have jumped or whatever. Like I'm thankful for my story as it is now, but I was waiting for a perfect time that was never going to come. And the other thing too is, you know, a lot of people go, I'm a good coach, I should start my own coaching company. Totally. But you have to understand, when you're working under another umbrella, you're only wearing a couple of hats. When you start your own, and I know I'm preaching the choir here, you're going to wear all the hats now. And so you better come to terms with that like I never really had to worry about marketing very much because people were coming. There was inflow of new signups all the time. You know, I never had to worry about social media. And you know, granted, I that was one thing that I wish I would have done a little bit better because like I said, I'm paying the price for that now. But you know, there's just a lot of hats that either you need to get better at, which you can, or you need to, like you said, you need to outsource for and have that done for you so you can focus on what you're good at. But don't expect to just like copy paste what you're doing in a brick and mortar gym and go to online without understanding you're going to have a lot more hats to wear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've said that multiple times in regards to that. As working for someone, then you're only wearing a couple hats, right? You're either the salesperson that's closing the deals because, you know, whatever reason the lead came in, they walked into the gym, so you're closing them. But inside of a business, you're the CEO, you're the founder, you're doing payroll, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales. Yeah, there's so many hats that you wear until you get to the point where you can outsource them. But you have to learn to be good at all of those, because what happens is when you get to the point of outsourcing stuff, you're typically going to have to train that person unless you're going to pay them top dollar for top talent, which if you can afford that, I recommend, because then you're not spending your time, you're leveraging your time for money, which that's where we all want to get. But yeah, man, that's cool. So for all you listeners, I hope that you're taking this advice or you're putting pen to paper and writing this stuff down. Because, you know, like Justin's been in his own business now for 9 months. He's been doing fitness for the last 13 years. And there's a lot of value to be taken away from it, because I know a lot of times, again, this goes back to the accountability thing. It's more than one touch point. You're hearing it from someone else's perspective other than just mine, or other than, you know, someone on social media that's posting something. This is just true, raw, real conversation. And so again, back to kind of what Justin was saying, when it comes to people on social media will lie. It's one of those things. It's like, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. So there are tons of online fitness trainers or business coaches or whatever you want to call it that will say they're super successful, or they can, this fitness trainer can make you lose 30 pounds in 30 days, stuff like that. Typically, if they're telling you a number, if you see anything with a number, be skeptical, because there's no way that whether it's an online business owner or an online fitness trainer, they can't actually guarantee you X amount of pounds. Everybody's different unless it's through a window of time. And so just be skeptical of the things that you see and the things that you hear. Don't play into everything. Do your own research whenever it comes to the point of looking for an online fitness trainer to help you in your fitness journey, or you get to the point where you're looking for a business coach. You can always hire me, but always do your research before you hire someone, because it's not only about reaching your goal, it's about the journey. It's about working with someone that aligns with your vision to where you can work with them over a period of time and create an awesome relationship to be able to hit that goal at the end.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, and the cool thing is with social media, like if the said, business coach, fitness coach, whatever, is doing their due diligence online and putting out social media content, just listen, because as a human being, we're really good at smelling out BS. Like even if we don't know much about the subject matter, we can tell if someone's being genuine or not. And yeah, you're right. Like the hacks, like even if those hacks were real, because you mentioned hacks before, like it's what widely known, like, oh, hacks don't work and all that. But the reason why is because it's too much focused on what you have to do. And like I said, if you really want this to last, whether it's your business, if you're listening with your business, or your health, or both, it has to be about who you have to become. Like you have to, with your health, you have to become someone that addresses their emotional eating and doesn't eat emotionally anymore. You have to become someone that spends part of their day at the gym every day. Like you have to become a different person at the foundational level in a lot of ways. And same thing with business. Like that's why a lot of businesses fail, I think, from my observation in my short time in it, is people are too focused on grow their business, but they're not growing themselves. And then it's the lottery mindset, right? Why so many lottery winners go broke is because they think more money is going to fix their problem, but it's financial literacy that's going to fix their problems.
Right.
More money is not going to fix your stupidity with your money.
Right.
So that's why I love that quote from Wes Watson of your level of self-development or your level of success will never exceed the level of self-development. And why for me, like if I want to be successful in anything, I need to always be working on myself so that I can actually handle whatever success is coming my way. Otherwise, I'm going to be another flash in the pan, and I don't want to be that.
Yep. And I mean, that's awesome. And it's like you're to the point where it's like, okay, what's next? A lot of people are afraid to invest in themselves. But what happens is that when you start working toward a goal, whatever it is, it could be in business, it could be in health, your own fitness journey, it could be in even, outside of that realm, it could be a relationship or whatever it may be. When you start working toward whatever goal it is, you start having to create different habits. You start becoming a different person because the old you is dying off. The bad habits are dying off. The way that you used to view things, that's all dying off, and you're becoming a new person. And so then you have to continue to invest in your own personal growth to become whatever person needs to become to hit that goal. Because if not, and you revert back to your old ways, you're just going to become the old person again and be exactly where the old person was. And it's the complete opposite of being toward the goal. So yeah, man, that's awesome. I love that. And who did you say that quote was by?
Wes Watson.
Wes Watson. I haven't heard that name.
Oh man, I think, we just met, but I think you would like him. He's his whole bullet point is he did 10 years in Cali State Prison, but he spent those years very wisely and developed the man that he wanted to become, and in 5 years he's built like a $20 million coaching business because he's been out of prison for 5 years. But he always says, he's like, I didn't build it in 5 years. I've been building it for 15 years because in those 10 years in prison, I was building the man that I needed to become, And so,
Yeah.
you know, he's what you would expect of a former inmate. Like, he's very gruff and in your face, but sometimes that's what, you know, that's the thing about truth. Truth is not relative. Truth that is relative ceases to be truth. Truth has a way
Yeah.
of confronting you. And sometimes, I love the quote, I got it from Tom Bilyeu. Truth will set you free. The truth will set you free, but at first it'll piss you off. And
Right.
but in order for me to confront you as my member, or even as my friend, with the truth, I have to be confronting myself with the truth. And to your point about investing in yourself, like, it's a mistake to think, oh, I know what I'm doing, and that's it. Because even if you're crushing it, well, if you're trying to reach higher levels, you should probably learn from people that are at or above those levels. And you know, and the other thing too is like, we all need to be held accountable. And the thing about a coach is, it's not, I don't need to, I tell people all the time in my group, you already know that chicken breast is good for you. You already know that you need to lift weights 3 times a week. I don't need to tell you that. My job is to help you unblock yourself, identify your limiting beliefs that you don't even know you believe. Oh, I'm 45 years old, that's why I can't lose weight. It's like, really? Because there's a study that came out that your metabolism doesn't change hardly at all from age 20 to 60. So no, that's not true. What is it? It's you're sitting on the couch.
Right.
Like, stuff like that. Like, you know, that's where the money goes. That's where the investment goes. And so yeah,
Yeah.
you do know what you do. But here's the other thing: what's the evidence? Are you getting the results that you want? Because if the answer is no, then it's not the information that's the problem. We all have information for free. It's the accountability and the guidance. You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that, man. And again, like I was saying before, in regards to like business or even business coaches, online fitness coaches, sometimes everybody wants to complain about, well, I don't have money to invest in myself, or I don't have money, to invest in personal growth. Like, it's like, okay, but which one costs more? Does the investment
Mm-hmm.
cost more, or does it cost more for you to stay where you're at for the rest of your life or for the next 2 years?
Yeah.
And like, again, people can jump on YouTube and you can Google all the workouts you want. You can Google marketing techniques. You can Google all this different stuff, but you're missing the accountability factor. And so when it
Right.
comes from people, Justin has been there for 13 years and they've gone through it. It's like, we go through different things in our lives and we learn all of those skills and all that knowledge over the time frame that we're in, whatever industry it is. Like in this case, Justin, so you've been doing fitness for over 13 years. So you have 13 years of knowledge that you're able to help somebody with through their fitness journey.
Right.
Through that 13 years of knowledge, you've seen tons of different experience. You've dealt with macros, different body types. I mean, you've seen it all. And so that's what people are paying for. They're paying for that 13 years of experience that you're providing them. Because I like to tell people, think of it as you're going down the road, right? You're driving down the road, and this can be down the road of business. It could be down the road of health or whatever it may be. And then all of a sudden, boom, you hit a big ass roadblock, right? And so by yourself, you're going to have to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do now? Do I need to find a detour? Do I need to find a way around this roadblock? What are you supposed to do? And it's going to take you an ample amount of time. It may be a week, it may be a month, it may be however long, if you get around it at all, to figure it out by yourself. Or you invest in yourself and you hire a trainer or you hire a coach that's already been there. They've already been down that road many, many times. They already know where the shortcut is. They know how to overcome that roadblock. So when they're holding your hand and walking down that same road, you hit that roadblock, boom, you're around it that much faster. So it's not that, we're trying to sell whatever it may be that we're selling. It's that, look, just let me hold your hand because I've been down this road tons of times and I can show you the way. It's like, I can lead you to the door and give you the key, but you have to open the door. We can't open it for you. Like, we do our parts as coaches, but you have to walk through it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I think too that, and I think it's due in part to all of the media that we're inundated with about those quick fixes and hacks, and and the Hugh Jackman Wolverine routine, and this crazy stuff that, by the way, Hugh Jackman doesn't even do when he's not prepping for Wolverine. So, side note on that. But it's all these home runs that people are looking for, but a real coach understands that it's about base hits. It's about the 1-degree shifts, that maybe you didn't see before. You know, the more I get to know each of my members, because I spend one-on-one time with every one of my members every single month. And the more I get to know them, the more I get to know their blind spots and their limiting beliefs. And then I can speak into those. And it's never like, okay, Dustin, starting tomorrow, we're going to 180 your whole routine and your mindset. It's, hey, it's this little 1 degree shift. That's how you know. That's how, and honestly, to your point about like deciphering who's who on social media, in my opinion, as someone who has been coached and who is a coach, I think that's how you can tell the real from the real. Is what are they talking about? Are they talking about the nuances and the 1 degree shifts, or are they the V-shred guys that are talking about like all the, you know, just erroneous claims to health and fitness, you know, and all the promising these huge results? It's like, that'd be great if you could grow 10 pounds of muscle in a week, but, you know, do you know anything about the human body and how ligaments and tendons and bones work? Like, they won't be able to handle that, even if that was real. So like, that's why it's not safe. You know, like, and you haven't even built in the habits to increase your protein and you know, the regular rhythms of more volume in your training, like to even be able to continue that after your week. So that's why those hacks are stupid. Like, trust me, it'd be great if your body was Amazon Prime. It could be here in 2 days, but that's just not how it works, you know? So yeah, I mean, to anyone out there, and I like, listen, I'm in the ground levels of my business, and you know, in one sense, it's like I'll take anyone I can get, but not really. No, I don't want to just work with anyone. I know that I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. So for those listening, you know, Dustin's mentioned a few times about hiring a coach. Like, we highly recommend hiring a coach. And yeah, I know that I can help you. He knows that he can help you, but it doesn't have to be with us. It's okay. Like, I don't want to speak for Dustin, but get some accountability and guidance, and you are worth investing into. Because you get to a certain point, I can't afford it. It's like, totally. But you get to a certain point where you can't afford not to. Because that's here's my last point. That's the drawback of living in such an information-rich age. I don't know what to believe now because there's so much to believe. And whereas, you know, there's that adage about a ship mechanic that they can't figure out the problem with the ship, and they hire this mechanic, and he comes in and goes, dink, that'll be $20,000. And they're like, what the hell, $20,000 for that? And it's like, yeah, that's because I knew where to tap.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Because I'm the expert. I saved you so much time and frustration, you know, because I'm able to take all this from my experience and distill it down into daily non-negotiable action steps.
Right. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, you're exactly right. And that's what we do. If you think about who it is that we pay them for their experience level. And Justin's right. Like, I do not work with everyone. Like, I just don't. And I'm not trying to be mean to anyone about it, but it's like, I do not want people that they're not action takers. Like, I do not want anyone that's not coachable. Like, because what happens is that if someone comes on and they sign on with me as a client and they're inside my program, I can give you A to Z on how to fix your problems. But if you don't implement it inside your business, or you're lazy and you don't actually take action, then 4 months in, you're going to go, well, this didn't work here. Your program sucks. No, my program's awesome because look at all these other claims that have people making money. It's that you didn't implement the things that you were supposed to in your business. So no, I do not work with everybody. And I'm sure, you know, like you said, you're the same way. And it's just one of those things. People pay for stuff. And if you think back, if you have a water line break in your bathroom, or you have something that breaks behind your drywall in your bathroom, are you going to take it all down and tear it apart and fix it yourself while water's spraying? Or are you going to call a plumber to come fix it? You know, It's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, yes, agreed. Yeah.
But yeah. So, okay. This has been an awesome talk. We went way past what I thought we were going to, but it's just kind of been flowing. So
good.
So for people that might need help with online fitness, they might need your guidance, or they might want to work with you, where can they go and find your information at? Like, where can they reach you at?
Yeah, so they can reach me at empowerinccoaching@gmail.com. Just shoot me an email. You can do that. My socials, I have a couple different handles. That's actually something I'm tossing around right now. I was like, should I have all the same handle? But on Instagram, I am _the mobility guy _ because mobility is kind of one of my subspecialties because of my own history. Honestly, I have a form there where you can fill out. It's just your name, your email, and your phone number. And then from there, I get a text message and I just text you and, hey, what's up? Tell me about your goals. Like, even if I just help you, because as you are shopping around for coaches and deciding if I'm a good fit, I'm doing the same for you. And again, that's not a pretentious thing. That's just real. That's what real coaches do. I mean, that's what Harvard does. Harvard doesn't let just anybody in, you know, for that reason, because they're looking for specific people. And so, but even if you end up not being a good fit, like, I still want to help you, even if it's just answering some of your questions, you know, because like you, I love to help people. And, you know, to your point about, real quick, I know we're wrapping up, but it's hard for me at least, to say I'm not for everyone, because I want to help everyone. But I've just learned that I'm not for everyone. Like, I really only want to work with people that are ready to help themselves, are ready for change. So, you know, it's just better for everyone. But yeah, so anyway, empowerincoaching@gmail.com. And then underscore the mobility guy underscore on Instagram. You can find me either way on there for now. Still building out my website.
And then I'll attach Justin's socials and his email address down in the description notes for this podcast. So if you need them at some point in time, you can just click on them and it'll take you right to them and connect with him. Now, Justin, is there anyone, do you have like a special niche, or do you just kind of pre-vet everybody that comes to you? Or is there like a special age group, or just men, or just women, or athletes, like anything like that? Or are you just kind of pretty broad?
No, currently I am looking specifically more for, 30 to 50-year-old range, just because that's the phase of life that I'm in. Being in my mid 30s, like, you're busy, you have kids, you usually have more responsibility at work. Like, you have so many things pulling you in so many different directions. So it's hard to prioritize your own health. And so I just think that my messaging speaks more loud. I mean, based on the feedback I get online, honestly, it's a lot of people that vibe the most with my stuff are 30 to 50-year-olds. Just because that's who I am, and those are the problems that I'm solving in my own life. I have members that are outside of that age range, both younger and older than that, because I am open to helping those people. But that's mainly who I do think I do want to start some kind of men's thing eventually, just because male leadership, I think, is the lack thereof is part of one of the biggest problems in our country right now. I am always very interested in that conversation. I take that very seriously in my own life. So I will likely eventually, I have some other irons in the fire that are a higher priority right now, but I will likely start some sort of male leadership thing eventually as well. But right now, awesome. Yeah, 30 to 50-year-olds, male, female, doesn't matter. Because I know I can help you, because I have for a long time. I've helped many people.
Right. Cool. So, well, there you go, guys. So again, I will put all of his socials and his email address down in the description notes on this podcast, so you can click it and link up with Justin if you're thinking about starting an online fitness journey, or even if you just want to connect with him, just to learn a little bit more about who he is. And you never know, maybe you can make a cool relationship, or maybe in the future you might need help and he can help you out there. So awesome, man. Well, Justin, I appreciate your time, man. It has been real.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thanks for the connection.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. Well, that's all we have for you today, and I will see you in the next one.